Greetings, Earthlings. I have another update from the Absurdium for you. This is an unfortunate but predictable update as we watch the situation in Syria quickly deteriorate under the new regime run by Al-Jilani and HTS, which, for anybody who doesn't know, is Al-Qaeda and ISIS rebranded. Right, so we finally have, admittedly somewhat tacitly, admission from the UN that things aren't going quite according to plan. I will share the video for you. It's 17 minutes long. You really should watch it. But it's basically Geir Pedersen, who is the Special Envoy of the Secretary General for Syria, laying out some hard facts without actively throwing HTS under the bus. He does dance around a few things, but he actually formalizes some issues that I raised last year, that there was definitely some oppression of Christians. There's been some assassinations. We're looking at an education system that is moving from science to faith. And there's some concern with there's like segregation on buses, Alawite women being prevented from going to work. The new regimes impose new rules. If you don't work for 2 weeks, you get fired. And now we have Alawite pundits on Democracy Now!, which is a US news outlet, basically saying that all of the Alawites need to be removed because they're part of the problem, just because they happen to be the same racial background as Assad, who is Alawite. I mean, that's just, it's another version. If that you say that about a Jew, that's anti-Semitism. Okay, it's absolutely ridiculous. I think they account for like 15% of the population there. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. But that's absolutely disgusting to throw an entire people under the bus and to conflate them with what Assad did just for being of the same ethnicity. Right. Now, the reason why I said that Mr. Pedersen danced around this somewhat is because we have another very interesting bit of information that's come to light from the Middle East Eye. And this is surprising because they are part of the PSYOP that was running against Assad to bring about this new order, if you want to call it that, in Syria, with which Qatar could run a pipeline through Syria. So here's the headline: Syria's justice minister under fire after videos show him overseeing executions. So let me just say that again: the new justice minister. So that's how we administered justice in the past. And those videos are available online. They're graphic. Basically, 2 women get assassinated with gunshots to the head in public, allegedly for prostitution. His reasoning is that this happened in 2015 and we've moved past this. Would we offer the same kind of clemency to Peter Sutcliffe, Harold Shipman, Jeffrey Dahmer? Like Luigi Mangione turns 30 and they say, oh, don't worry about it, it was just a phase in his 20s, like gangster rap. Like, this is absolutely absurd, guys. Like, we've got to engage our brains here. We have to. Because even though none of us actively have blood on our hands, we reap the benefits of a liberal lifestyle that is leveraged upon the oppression of third world countries and the global south and the rape of their resources. You just can't completely wash your hands of this. You can't do it. Now it gets better. We've just learned that the US is sending 3,000 more troops to Syria. They're building a new base in northeast Syria, no doubt to protect their allies in the PKK and the YPG, the Kurdish militants, who Turkey are actively trying to eradicate. The Kurds have asked the US for assistance, and it would appear that they're going to give it to them. Well, it gets even better. Iraq has now done a complete U-turn on telling the US to get your troops out or they're going to start leaving in body bags, to begging them to stay because they're worried about the rise of ISIS again, right? Remember, HTS was actually ISIS Al-Qaeda, okay? You can put a monkey in a suit, but he's still a fucking monkey. And it gets even better than that. Now, Al-Jilani has realised that he's probably a dead man walking, so he's now continuing in his dictate of making very pragmatic choices, and he's now reached out to the Kremlin and he's begging Russia not to leave, to give him military assistance. Now, let's be clear, Russia gave Assad military assistance. Now Jilani wants Russia to do the same for him. You think that's good? Gets even better than that. So Turkey already controls 40% of the water in Syria. The US controls all of the oil and the grain. Now, I'm not exactly sure how this went down, whether Israel took it or whether Jilani gave it to them, but Israel now have control of 30% of the water in Syria. So Syria only controls 30% of its own water supply. They also have energy and infrastructure problems, for which Turkey is now bringing in generators. I think at this point, we can officially say that this is an absolute fucking shit show. And it's just going to get worse. And it's the people of Syria that will ultimately suffer for this as we carve the country up and balkanize it for our own interests in the West. Because we want cheaper gas and energy sources. Like, this is absolutely disgusting. And unfortunately, this was fully predictable. Okay? I will leave the links in the description below. Happy New Year.